This was interesting this week. Jerome Powell has changed his stance on Bitcoin. Jerome Powell is the Fed chair, and he reversed his stance from earlier. So I think we should take a look at this because this is pretty interesting.
As you know, in the annual report from the Financial Stability Oversight Council, among the risks outlined is cryptocurrency. Could you talk about those risks now? And regarding individuals and households, perhaps distinct from the concern about the financial system, do you worry that speculation in this unregulated asset class could hurt their financial well-being, or do you think it has a place in a household's portfolio?
So our role with Bitcoin really is to look at, with crypto, really is to look at the banks, and we think it's, banks are perfectly able to serve crypto customers as long as they understand and can manage the risks, and it's safe and sound. A good number of our banks that we regulate and supervise do that. The threshold has been a little higher for banks engaging in crypto activities. And that's because they're so new, and we don't want to make the mistake. If you're making a choice to conduct that activity inside a bank, which is inside the federal safety net with deposit insurance, then you want to be pretty sure that it's a safe and sound activity. So, we're not.
By the way, are you guys hearing that? I don't think you are. So I'm not seeing it. Well, I see desktop audio, but not Brave audio.
Not against innovation, and we certainly don't want to.
Oh, you guys were hearing it? Oh, were you hearing it? Let me see. Just give me a second here. I just want to see.
The threshold has been a little higher for banks.
Oh, I guess it was. Okay, cool. It was showing up on desktop audio, but not. Okay.
To take actions that would cause banks to, to terminate customers who are perfectly legal, just because of excess risk aversion, may be related to regulation and supervision. So,
and with respect to households and their inclusion in the asset class,
that's kind of it's not really our bailiwick. You want people to be knowledgeable about the financial engagements that they have, and that's why we have the securities laws that we have. It's why if you read a mutual fund prospectus or individual stock prospectus, you want households to have the chance to understand the risk that they're taking. And I do think it would be helpful if there were a greater regulatory apparatus around crypto, and I think that's something Congress was working on quite a lot. We've actually spent a lot of time with members of Congress working together with them on various things, and I think that would be a very constructive thing for Congress to do. Thank you.
Yeah, so this is really interesting.
The idea.
Okay, this is really interesting because he at the end points to the need for a regulatory structure. Well, the problem is they fought there being a regulatory structure for for 4 years at least. The Biden administration was dead set against crypto. That was manifest in what we saw from Gary Gensler as SEC chair. We've got some Gary Gensler news coming up too, I think is interesting. But yeah, I think it's good. This is a good sign. This is also a reversal of what he said earlier. But the SEC was dead set against any type of regulatory clarity. And even when, say, Coinbase got served with a Wells notice, and we covered this on here, when they got served with a Wells notice and asked, well, what did we do wrong? How do we get in compliance? The SEC basically just said, nope, we're just not going to share that. It's like, well, that's crazy. If you ask what the rules are and you're told you can't know the rules, but you broke them, that violates what we call good governance. So yeah, I think that's just insane. What I think is interesting too, and I'm going to share this. Hold on. I think this is worth checking out, by the way. Related to this, this is a contradiction of his previous stance. Not that long ago either. This is from Brave New Coin. Powell reaffirms Fed stance, no Bitcoin holdings, no plan for change. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell has reaffirmed the central bank's stance against owning Bitcoin, stating that the current laws prohibit such holdings and that the institution has no intention of pursuing changes to these regulations. Now, I know they're talking specifically about the central government, but that sets the tone. When they say, yeah, we're not going to hold it, that's a good sign. You probably shouldn't be holding it either. Addressing the media, Powell clarified the Federal Reserve Act specifies what we can own, and Bitcoin is not part of that list. Yeah, by the way, I heard something really fascinating recently that apparently the original certificates for all the gold that the country holds in reserve, and I was trying to find some confirmation of this, so I don't know 100% know if this is true. But supposedly those certificates are still valued at their 1973 level. And so apparently the US gold reserves are worth like, a 60th of what they should be because the price of gold has like 60x'd from that point. I think that's like really fascinating. Now, like I said, I don't know if it's 100% true, but I heard that on the Wolf of Wall Street's podcast, which I thought was pretty interesting. So speaking of Bitcoin, since we're on just kind of the general crypto topic, I thought this was really interesting because I had no idea how many countries were holding Bitcoin, way more than I thought. So I just want to show you this because, I don't know, I was surprised by it. Maybe I shouldn't have been. So this is Bitcoin holdings by country. This is from a Crypto Country app on X. So we have 207,000 Bitcoin. I assume those are seizures. And I don't know how many of these are seizures versus holding it in some sort of reserve. I don't really know. 61,000 the UK holds. Finland holds almost 2,000. Not bad. The country of Bhutan holds 13,000. I'll tell you what, I couldn't tell you the first thing about Bhutan. I don't know anything about it. El Salvador, probably not a surprise. In fact, I saw someone claim that El Salvador like basically did a 180 on its crypto program because El Salvador is one of the ones that made this big push to hold Bitcoin, and supposedly they stopped buying Bitcoin. They no longer are going to accept it for currency. But the person who said that, people pushed him on it, and he seemed to have no proof of that whatsoever. So I don't know if I buy that. Yeah, maybe. I just don't know if I buy it. So we'll see. I'm putting that one in the maybe category. Venezuela, 240, so that's not very much. But then the Ukraine has 46,000. Is this like total holdings? It's pretty wild. Georgia, 66, China, 194,000. So they're holding a lot of Bitcoin. That's a lot of Bitcoin in Ukraine. That's kind of a surprise to me. I think we would respond to that. I don't think so. Anyway, I thought that was pretty interesting. A little interesting tidbit about country holdings. And just to kind of cap it off, so I mentioned Gary Gensler earlier, and he raises a lot of ire with crypto people, and understandably so. I think it's well deserved, frankly. Well, you might not know this, but he went to MIT as a professor now, again, where he was before, where he actually taught a class on cryptocurrency and had made pro-Algorand statements. And I got a little battle, but I think this is interesting from Gemini. So this is from Tyler. Well, first, this is from Eleanor Terrett. I think was she on Fox News? Yeah, Fox Business News. Said that Gary Gensler had returned to MIT, where he'll take up the role of professor of the practice of global economics and management group and finance group. According to the university, he will teach and conduct research on artificial intelligence, finance, fintech, and public policy. Great question, AMKDC. Will Gensler be pro-crypto again now that he's teaching fintech? Which is a good question. I'm kind of fascinated about that because he was pretty pro-crypto. Well, not convinced of that is Tyler Winklevoss. So as you may know the Winklevosses. They had an original stake in Facebook. They've claimed to be the founders of Facebook, that they hired Mark Zuckerberg, and Zuckerberg kind of stole it from them, is sort of the contention, I think. I hope I'm getting that right. You should watch The Social Network. It's actually a really good movie. I don't watch a lot of movies anymore. When I do, it's usually like older movies from the 80s, but I did kind of like that one. I might watch it again, actually. So anyway, they own Gemini, which is a cryptocurrency trading platform, kind of like Coinbase, or, exchange, kind of like Coinbase, etc. It says, as long as MIT has any association with Gary Gensler, Gemini will not hire graduates from this school, not even interns for our summer intern program, which is kind of wild. I can certainly understand the animus toward Gary Gensler, which I think so anyway, I just kind of like tweeted that news. I thought it was interesting. Cassius Couve, who's a rapper and also a very strong Algorand supporter, he says, all the other crypto companies are like good, one less company to compete for the top blockchain talent. Duh. And I think that's fair. W3 Run said petty and unprofessional. I kind of agree with that too. So I said, I understand the animus against Gary based on anti-crypto stance while SEC. I'm not sure it makes sense to cut off a huge talent source. Not taking recommendations from Gensler, that I could definitely see. And Cassius says, here's the rub. Gary is personally pro-crypto. His job at the SEC was political by nature. He seems like a dickhead, but I think he will eventually work for a crypto company the way John Boehner ended up working for a marijuana company. I actually didn't know that about John Boehner, to be honest. MIT talent shouldn't be blackballed. I kind of agree. Like I said, and I still kind of stand by this, I think it's probably a bad idea to like take an entire school and say we won't take anybody from this school because of one person teaching there. I can see like not taking his personal recommendations very seriously. If you feel that way, I think that's fair, but they're a private company that can do what they want and there will be consequences. I don't know if I buy the argument that he was pro-crypto but was just forced to. He took the job, I think, knowing the political landscape. I think he was well aware of the people he was working for. Who knows? Maybe it's just a matter of, hey, I want this job. This will look great on my resume. I'll do what I have to do, which is usually the case. So very, very interesting stuff, but that's kind of the end of the crypto news, I think. Just a basic crypto news, like Bitcoin and all that. Yeah, it's a very interesting week. I'm still kind of surprised with all this pro-crypto news that we're just not seeing movement. That's really surprising to me, and I don't know I guess you could say a lot of this stuff was priced in, but For the Crowd says, can you see what you were actually making in real time when you stake your algo? Yes. I'm a bit nervous about staking algo and afraid of losing my staked algo. You won't, because it stays in your wallet. So you won't, there's no way to lose your algo. Yeah, so you just provide the keys to the node. Your algo stays right where it is. So you won't lose it. But what happens is, yeah, you'll see the transactions. Everyday Algonaut is right. He's right. It'll just come to you'll get the rewards. I've seen the transactions. It just says, yep, 10 Algorand sent to Paris. So you'll get a reward. You'll see the rewards. It will be very obvious.